Charlie Austin is our guest this morning. Where do you think they'll finish?
Top half. Top half. They've got to improve. Obviously, they've got to improve on what happened last year, but I think that they'll be in the top half. And you've got to give the other teams credit, right? The teams that have qualified for the European competitions. Yes, they've got to adapt to the more games being in there, but Man United have really got to step up their game to get into them places. So for me, I'm just going to say top half.
So obviously it's progress because they finished a lot lower than that last season. But is that enough progress for a club like Manchester United?
That's not enough. And like I said, look at the signings they've got and their new forward line, etc. With Sesko down the middle and Buemo and Matheus Cunha. But like I said, for me, there's way more pressure at Manchester United. And Buemo was brilliant at Brentford. There's no getting away from that. Matheus Cunha was brilliant at Wolves. There's no getting away from that. But Manchester United, there's so much more pressure. They are worldwide known everywhere. And if you don't perform one or two times, that's it, fans on your back. They need instant performances, especially after what happened last year, and especially this is why they've been brought into the football club.
Well, this is Sky Sports Fan Club. Let's bring in a Manchester United fan now, and that is Adam Stott. Adam, you've just heard Charlie Austin say that he expects Manchester United to finish top half and no better than that. What do you think?
Come on, Charlie, mate. They're better than that. Them signings are going to take us right into the top four, buddy.
Is that what is the minimum requirement? Because you are smiling there, but I'd imagine that's your aim. But what's the minimum requirement?
Basically, I looked at Nottingham Forest last season. If they can go from relegation to challenging for the top four without European football, and I think no European football for Manchester United is where we have the advantage this season, because no distractions, no travelling. Obviously, Ruben's got a bit more time to work with the players, work with the system. I think that's one thing that everybody's forgetting about this season. No European football for Manchester United is unheard of. So full concentration, full preparation for the Premier League. That has to be paramount this season. And I think if you aim for top four, you just miss out, you might scrape the Europa League. And I think that's probably where I'm at right now with the signings that we've made. If, like the rumours are talking about, there is a couple more to come in, then United have to be challenging for top four. It's like Charlie just said then, this is a massive football club and the expectations are huge. If you don't aim high, you're never going to make it there anyway. And I think the preparation for this season, the way that the culture has changed behind the scenes and the work going on there at Carrington right now and the whole change-up and the whole setup at United is probably what's going to be the difference this season. It's, you could say, probably one of them do-or-die seasons for United right now, because after this and the investment and everything that's changed, it's hard to see how we could move forward past it.
Well, Charlie, the front three is what everyone's talking about with Manchester United at the moment. Sesko, Cunha and Buemo as a front three.
Man United Dream 11 for first game of Premier League season with two more key signings made. Manchester United have already bolstered their front line ahead of the new season, but continue to be linked with some major names. PSG's Gianluigi Donnarumma among them. Manchester United have not been shy in spending big to enhance their front line with goals, a major problem for Ruben Amorim throughout last season. On Saturday, the club announced the £70 million capture of Benjamin Sesko, who will lead their line. The former RB Leipzig striker is regarded among the finest young forwards in Europe and could form part of a new-look front three. Matheus Cunha was Amorim's first summer signing, joining from Wolves, and then after weeks of negotiations, Bryan Buemo signed from Brentford. Both of them have been embedding themselves into Amorim's system over their preseason games. Cunha and Buemo are also proven Premier League performers and scored more than 30 goals between them last term, with Sesko poised to spearhead an attack alongside them. That is the attack which massively misfired last term, all but sorted, and attention will turn to further down the pitch. There's no getting round the fact that United have a huge gap to bridge to the European spots, let alone the Champions League places. The name most heavily linked with a move to Manchester over the past week has been Carlos Baleba at Brighton. Contact was made through intermediaries to see whether a deal could be struck, albeit that is massively impacted on the budget that remains at Old Trafford. Baleba is the latest in a long time of quality players to have seen their stock skyrocket at Brighton, and the Seagulls could command a huge profit on their Cameroon midfielder. United's next target is to land a number 6 type midfielder, leading to their interest in Baleba. If any deal is to be struck, it may require those in Manchester to get creative with their negotiations, potentially including a swap if they want to tempt Brighton. Saliba would provide huge energy as part of a two-man midfield, likely alongside Bruno Fernandes. Doubts remain, for varying reasons, over the likes of Kobbie Mainoo and Casemiro, with Amorim yet to totally be convinced by either player. Another man that has not totally sold himself yet to the United boss is goalkeeper Andre Onana. He was dropped for a match last season after some notable errors in a Europa League draw at Lyon. He was later bought back into the fold, but his error count has been a concern throughout. Bringing in a new number one was not a priority this summer, but after United were able to iron out their attacking recruitment before the season starts, they may see if there's scope and budget to make moves in between the sticks. The two names most heavily linked are Aston Villa's Emi Martinez and Gianluigi Donnarumma at PSG. The latter appears more likely, even though he just played a leading role in the French side becoming European champions. His signing would obviously. Unconvinced teammates and criticism from hierarchy were not the only reasons Rasmus Hojlund was destined to fail at Man United. Rasmus Hojlund was destined to fail at Manchester United before a ball was kicked, but his probable departure raises an issue in Ruben Amorim's squad. There was a slightly surreal interaction on North State Street in Chicago during Manchester United's preseason tour. While walking back from a CVS pharmacy one evening, it soon became apparent I was gaining on a few United players out for an evening stroll. Harry Maguire was the most conspicuous. Bruno Fernandes and Luke Shaw were in front of him. Suddenly, there was a whistle and someone left behind jogged past me to catch up with the group. Rasmus Hojlund. Hojlund muttered something and then, awkwardly, Maguire started to slow down. He turned around. "All right, mate." Possibly the three most oft-used words during interactions between British males. That was the sum of my night out with United players. Reading between the lines, Hojlund had clocked me and made his teammates aware. Fernandes and Shaw did not even break stride. Maguire was perfectly polite. Hojlund was bound to recognize me as he once dedicated an Instagram post to me. Piqued by a story that some United players were reluctant to pass the ball to him. 2 days later, he came on and scored the winner against Newcastle United and commemorated the moment on social media. On the pitch, Hojlund opted for a fake celebration, pressing his index finger against his lips. He did not silence the doubters last season. Hojlund scraped 3 goals in his final 35 appearances of 2024-25, and United are now brazenly pushing him out when they were once so protective. United were angry on Hojlund's behalf over the aforementioned story. Another member of their communications department has never celebrated more wildly in a press box than when Hojlund ended his goal drought at Leicester in March. Hojlund is not short of allies, but he is now isolated. He started ball juggling during his warm-up in the first half against Fiorentina on Saturday. That was a telltale sign he was never going to get on. In Chicago, Ruben Amorim refused to give assurances that Hojlund, who performed decently on tour, would stay. A few minutes later, Hojlund strolled into the mixed zone and asked if anyone wanted to talk to him. It was not light-hearted. One club cannot house £2.70m odd strikers. Benjamin Sesko's fee is marginally more than Hojlund's 2 years ago. Both are overpriced, but Sesko's value feels fairer, given his development and reputation. He has been on United's radar for at least 3 years, too. Hojlund is an easy fall guy for the Ineos cabal. He was signed by the previous regime. Sir Jim Ratcliffe included him among the players that he had inherited, and Hojlund's record is indefensible. 26 goals in 95 appearances.